Namaste and welcome to Kaivalya Yoga Gurukulam, the Kaivalya Marga class. We are continuing to learn the Panchabhutas. We are on the earth element. Before we begin, let us get ourselves into a state of mindfulness, focused attention. So as always, we'll begin with 3 Ohms. Namaste. Whenever you chant the Om, it just brings your, it's like a buzzer sound, a very beautiful way to buzz. In other words, it draws your attention to the moment because it has no meaning, right? The mind goes blank. And that's the whole idea. It begins to empty the mind, makes it fresh. All right, it's like a reset button, if you will, a buzzer sound. So even if you're revisiting these classes, even if in case you're watching this class at a later time, not for some of you who are live here, this is for those of you who will watch it later. You might say, okay, let me skip this 3 long ohms and go further. And that's a very good temptation to do that. But if you at that moment also join in and say, all right, let me take this time to become mindful and focus back into the class, then the class becomes more meaningful. Your time becomes more meaningful. Your time becomes more valuable. There is always a great meaning in all these practices that were prescribed to us. So we are not chanting these ohms for religious reasons, quote unquote religion, the way it's commonly misunderstood today. You can if you wish to, that's a different matter. But more importantly, it's a sound that nullifies the mind, brings it to a state of mindfulness. It's like a reset button, if you will, a buzzer sound, if you will. At any point you need a buzzer sound in your head, it's going too fast, then a single ohm itself is good. Okay, I don't want to get distracted by the ohm. We are on this very beautiful topic of the Panchabhutas, which forms the basis of the entire yoga sadhana. Before I begin there, I want to address a couple of questions that I think it needs to be addressed at this moment because I got it from 3 or 4 of y'all. And one of that was, why do you keep saying meditate upon this, meditate upon this? What does that even mean? Is that a technique that we should use? When you say meditate upon Parvati, worshipping the sand lingam, what does that even mean? I think it's a great question. And I'm sorry I didn't take time to explain that earlier. In Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, when we understand that later, he advises or he suggests different forms of meditation. Okay? And one of those is meditating on concepts. So one is what the way you and I understand meditation is what meditation on the breath, meditation on the chakras, which is visualization to some extent, and also actually experiencing. Meditation on the form of the guru, meditation on the flame, meditation on the candle, all that is there, right? When you're listening to me, you're not meditating because you're not drawn inwards, but you're listening focused attention. Though this comes under concentration and dharana. So don't get confused. But when you meditate, there is also meditation on concepts. There is meditation on dreams as well. So when you have vivid dreams and you wonder what it is, instead of going to Google and Googling I dreamt a snake bit me, what happened? What is the meaning of that? And you will get so many meanings. The best way to do that is go within and meditate without trying to understand, analyze too much. You're just meditating, allowing the knowledge hidden within to reveal itself, allowing the wisdom hidden to reveal itself. This is what we understand in meditation as we go and as we study the Dakshinamurti Stotra. At the time I'm doing these videos, I'm also doing satsangs every night on Dakshinamurti, the supreme teacher. Everybody sits in silence and the wisdom reveals itself. So that is what we are trying here. So when I say meditate on this concept, think of this concept, bring that concept to your mind at the altar of your mind, if you will, lay it there and just let it sink in. And let ideas just be presented to you for consideration. Don't resist anything. Just let it flow. Consider all these ideas coming. It takes time. It's not a very easy thing to do. People who are creative in nature might be more tuned into it. And I'm sure all of us are creative in some form. So I'm not distinguishing between that. But when I say creative, I'm talking of people who are learning music or people into arts and drawing and painting. And some of you are, I know. So it becomes easier because when you're drawing, you get ideas and you don't immediately resist. You just try it. And if you don't like it, you wipe it and you go back into drawing or painting. In singing, it's the same way. You try different variations of a song and then you settle for the one you like. So the mind is more flexible. Okay. Similarly, if you have a natural talent for cooking, for example, you will be able to do this kind of meditation. Because in cooking, again, when I say natural talent, you're not literally sticking to a book of recipes, right? You're saying, okay, let me figure out what to do. Whatever is there in the kitchen, let me make something fascinating out of it. Some leftovers, some this, that, the magic. I know Maya does that. I have no idea. Other than making a cup of coffee or tea, I have no idea. Okay, so what I'm trying to say here is meditation on concepts is a very powerful way to allow your inner guru to awaken, to reveal. So you listen. That is what is mananam. Mananam, when we talk about shravanam, mananam, and nididhyasanam, shravana is right now. You are listening to me. You have no choice, right? You have switched on. You have taken time to listen to me. Okay. So listen with an open mind. So that itself is a talent. Don't listen, and as you're listening, don't start analyzing at that moment. Just listen. Just listen. Let it sink in. Open mind. No resistance to anything. And I found this was the best way to learn when Baba would talk and give discourses. When I was living in his ashram and listening to him, I would simply listen. I would not say, oh, I'm not able to do that. Why am I not able to do that? I should make a note of it. Nothing. At that moment, I just let it all sink in. Okay, so listening. Then comes mananam. So this mananam is where meditation becomes part of mananam. Contemplation, if you will. Contemplation is another word for meditation. The reason why I don't use contemplation very often is simply because it's a little more lighter way. You can contemplate on ideas. You can contemplate on this as well. Meditation is a little more mindful practice. That's all. Other than that, it could perhaps be just two different words meaning the same thing. So meditate on what you heard. Meditate on the concepts that you heard, concepts that intrigued your mind, that picked your brain a little bit, and you're like, oh, wow, what is that? Let me meditate on it. So in meditation, you don't analyze too much. You just say, okay, what does this mean? And go and visualize, allow a visualization to happen, and some revelations will come. Maybe not be at the meditation, okay? But when you're driving later on, suddenly it'll click. But that has happened because you have set the practice, you have opened that door, and then you wait for the energy to come in, for the wisdom to come in. So don't expect it at the meditation or during meditation. Then that is analysis. You're trying to solve a problem or solve a riddle. Meditation is simply taking a concept and meditating upon it, allowing the wisdom to expand, your mind to expand, go beyond conditions, and let it come. So it's a talent, and we'll explore it more as we go along if time permits. But the secret in all this, excuse me, the secret in all this is just practice, and that is what I mean by meditate, 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 and so on. Okay. The second thing I do want to put it more as a disclaimer is these sessions in the temple, I am for particular reason not editing it at all. Literally 95% is just as is. I'm taking blocks of videos instead of having one long thing. I'm just taking it blocks and presenting it to you, and then reviewing what I spoke and then going back. Because the reason is I want you to experience, and I want myself to be sharing exactly the way I was inspired in these temples. When I was there, and when I'm always at these temples, something takes over. Literally, I'm on a completely different zone, and I'm not saying it as if I'm some mystic or something. I'm just a normal person like you all, and I'm sure all of you understand this as well, right? But especially for me, it's so there is so much respect that should be given to a temple when you go there. For almost 20 years after I left Puttaparthi, or maybe 15 years, I don't know, 15, 16 years. Let me see. Yeah, for almost about 15 years, till Baba passed away, I never went to any temple. Because I know if I go there, the mind switches to a whole different level, completely different level. So I wasn't ready to do that. But when I go to a temple, I make sure I'm completely in tune with the energies of the temple. I don't go there and then sit, what do I eat? Where do I go? Look at this shop there, look at that there. I take all of that in the breath, not exclude or resist anything, but then I try and rise above all that little distractions and feel the energy as it was thousands of years ago. I go into that zone, literally, I'm in that zone. So when I sit there and I spoken these things, I have felt truly guided, truly guided. It might seem like I've spoken a lot of things from all over the place in one session. That's why I'm breaking it. But at that moment, those were the thoughts that came to me, and I'm going to base my teachings and all of these classes from those fundamental elements. From there, in each of these elements, I'll take those fundamental concepts I talked about and I'll share it. And I'm saying this from the depths of my heart. This was a very guided experience. So allow me to share it the way it came to me. And so you might find me just pausing or uhs and ums, and but that's natural. I'm not going to edit and make it look fancy. This is how it was. It was completely unscripted. I had a vague idea of what I wanted to talk to. I went there, prayed, meditated, asked for guidance, and sat in front of the camera and just let it go. Let it let the wisdom flow through me, literally being an instrument of the divine. Okay, let's go to our slides today. Panchabhutas. We are talking of the 5 elements, and we were at the Kanchipuram Ekambareshwar temple. What a beautiful temple! Thank you for all your comments. I didn't really expect that so many of you would love to see this. I'll see in the next class if I can get a little more glimpse of some of these, some more clips that I've taken, if time permits and if the context permits. So thank you for enjoying the trip as much as I did. These are powerful portals, amazing places, and the fact that it's all solid granite and preserved, it's just mind-blowing. And Kedarnath up in the Himalayas, which I have not made the video yet because those videos, the way I took it, I need to edit it, and so it's going to take a long time. But that temple is, oh my gosh, words fail me when you go into that temple. It's just so amazing when you sit in front of that huge piece of rock, and then you're just completely engulfed in that amazing divine power of Shiva. So that these portals are very, very, very powerful. So thank you for appreciating those videos. I'll try and share as many as I can, and I'm sure your homes would have been blessed by the energy of those temples. I believe it does. That's just my belief. Okay, So, a review from the last class, and an important thing that we learned in the last class, which I don't want to miss here, is the mango tree. Why did Parvati choose the mango grove? It was a mango grove. And why are we focusing on that? Because the temple itself is named after that. Ekambareshwara. It's a Shiva temple. Parvati did all the action and he gets the credit. Look at that. That's how it is, right? I'm just kidding. So Ekambareshwar is the name of the temple where Parvati did tapas. She chose this mango grove to do the tapas, and since Shiva manifested himself there and they got married in the mango grove, it has become Ekambareshwar, Lord of the mango grove, Lord of the mango tree. Now there is only a single tree, thanks to mankind. We destroyed the grove, and we have now there's just a concrete jungle around. Over the years, over the centuries, that's happened. Anyway, why mango tree, right? In Dakshinamurti, we studied the banyan tree. There is the mango tree. There is the people tree. I don't know what is people tree in English. I had to find that out. People, for those of you who know Hindi or in from India, you would perhaps understand people tree, and we'll talk about that when the context comes, if it comes. But mango tree is again a very, very symbolic tree of spirituality. The mango fruit itself is considered to be a divine, the fruit of the gods, if you will. Pomegranate is another one, but mango is one of the main things, and you'll see many stories in the Puranas that surrounds the mango. One famous one being Shiva's two sons competing for the mango. Mango fruit represents the fruit of all your spiritual austerities, the fruit of all your efforts is the mango. It is sweet in nature. Now, I'm not going to talk about medicinal aspects of mango tree. Those are things you can Google it. So I'm not giving you things which you can get on the internet by Googling. But you should try and Google it and find out what else is unique about this mango tree. Find out how the mango has got vitamin A, vitamin C, and all of that. The skin of the mangoes are good. Incidentally, if you're buying mangoes in the shops, make sure you clean them thoroughly, and you just don't eat the skin as is. Anyway, so those kind of things you can Google yourself, right? I'm not going to that, but I want to present something which you may or may not have come across from other teachers or books or internet, and that is how the mango tree. And this is the idea that came to me as I sat at the temple and asked, why mango tree? Why mango tree? And I did the same idea of meditation. I visualized myself sitting under the mango tree and meditating, and then began to understand that mango tree has a unique combination of all the five elements. And you might come up with other trees as well, but there is something unique about the mango tree. So let's explore that. So in mango tree, you see this beautiful, beautiful tree. It's so rich in all its aspects. Okay, it smells very good. The fruits taste very good. At all levels of the fruit, can be used. Every part of this tree actually can be used, and so is a coconut tree as well. But there's something very special about the mango tree. This fruit is one of those which is so sweet, the entire fruit can be consumed, of course, except the seeds, but the entire fruit, the skin and everything can be consumed, unlike a coconut, for example. So there could be various plus and minuses of all of that, but mango tree by itself is a very rich tree, right? It's a symbol for fertility. It's a symbol for abundance. When you see a mango tree laden with fruits, all of these thoughts come to you. Abundance. You don't think of barrenness. You don't think of loneliness. You don't think of sadness when you see a mango tree. Your spirit elevates. You're like, wow, look at that tree, how beautifully, fully laden with fruits. I was staying at a friend's place, Devesh's place in Trinidad. He has such a beautiful, beautiful mango tree in his yard. It's laden with one of the most juiciest of mangoes I've ever tasted in my life. If you are in Trinidad, if you go to Trinidad, there is a mango called Julie. I don't know why they call it Julie, but Julie is a mango that is fantastic. in taste. It's even better than the Apus mangoes that you get in India, honestly. And so he has a tree like that, and just watching that tree from the veranda, looking at that would elevate your consciousness. Oh my God, there's so much beauty. There is so much abundance, right? So that is perhaps why one of the reasons why Parvati was drawn to the mango tree. And remember, these are Puranic stories. So this the idea of mango tree perhaps emerged at this temple, at this with this Puranic story. I don't know, but it's possible because stories of Shiva and Parvati, Shaivism itself is the oldest among all thought processes, right? So anything about Shiva Parvati is all extremely old. So mango tree starts from there. Now the space element in this mango tree, the mango tree before space element is always considered with flowers. Whenever you see flowers, flowers of any tree, flowers of any plant, flowers in general is related to space. Is a symbolism of space because flowers bloom in space. If there's no space, if you put a plastic bag around the sorry, it sounds so um, violent. You put a plastic bag or a cup around a bud, it's not going to bloom because there is no space. So the flower to bloom, it needs space, and then it falls down in space. So there's the action of flower is all in space. The smell comes through space. So the wind that carries the smell of the flower comes in space. So space and flowers are very closely related. So the space element is always there in most of the flowering trees, correct? Because they flower. Mango tree also has that unique feature. It first flowers and then these flowers become fruits. And when they flower, look at that particular tree in the slide. They very rich. It shows gives you a sign of things to come. Because the nature of fruits in mango tree is not one fruit here and one fruit there. It just grows in bunches, right? So flowers give you an idea of what kind of tree this is. So flowers represent the space element in the mango tree. Then comes the leaves of the mango tree. There is a practice in Indian culture to tie these leaves in a piece of string and put them on the doorway. And now these were very useful when there was one door in the house and the door was set in a particular direction where the wind would come in. Right? That was all based on Vastu Shastra and all that. Vastu is not anything mystical. It's based on at that particular where the light should come, where wind should come, and all. When there's good light in the house, when there's good breeze in the house, natural air in the house, the thoughts will be in the right manner. In other words, you won't get depressed, you won't get angry, you will be always be in a nice, good mood because you're breathing well, and so on. There's good light in the house, and so on. So we'll leave that science aside. But so in the days when it was really useful, when there was little homes with one door, they would tie this at the entrance of the doorway. Now it's commonly believed, okay, it keeps negative energy out and all of that. That is a matter of belief. But in simple, logical, common sense, these leaves carry a lot of divine fragrance. Many of you can relate to this. When you go to a mango tree, pick a leaf, you smell the leaf. I see, I can imagine most of you feeling that smell back from memory, right? Smell is connected to smarana, memory. And so when you smell, that memory comes back. And so you can almost relive that memory of that smell. Mango leaves smell and retain their smell over a long period of time. Those leaves last very long. But nevertheless, in ancient times and even now in villages in India, where, like I said, it's a common thing because you get these trees, being a tropical country, especially in the south, you get these leaves throughout the year. So it's very easy to get a bunch of mango leaves and tie them. They call it toranam. Toranam is a string with mango leaves tied at the. What happens here? Why is it connected to the wind element? When the wind blows in, it wafts and it brings the fragrance into the home. Natural air freshener. So your home smells beautiful. And I've been there when I was a couple of years ago, we went to a priest's home. Two of our yoga students from KYG were with me. It's a very tiny home. The priest invited us for a breakfast. We entered. They had these mango leaves, so we could get the waft, the beautiful smell as you entered the home. So there was so much positive energy. So that is the idea of bringing positivity into your home through the sense of smell. So, and that is conveyed through breeze. So leaves, to me, have a great significance here. Also, the leaves of the mango tree are used in rituals. If you see here, this is called a kalash. Kalasha is where, again, this all has different elements and all. We'll talk about it someday when we discuss upasanas and worship and the symbolism behind that. But right now, I'm just focusing on the leaves. Why do they use mango leaves for this? Because mango leaves continue to emit oxygen in the air even after they are plucked from the tree for a long time. Okay, that is why in big ceremonies, in weddings, and in pujas, where a lot of people gather inside closed spaces or not, but just fact that there are so many people around, you have a lot of mango leaves all over the place, all over the place, because mango leaves purify the atmosphere. That is the belief, and it's open for research. But nobody complains of having mango leaves around because it does not smell bad. It takes a while to dry up, and even when they dry, they retain a great deal of their fragrance until they are very, 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 very old. It takes weeks on end. So I'm in Cleveland. In Cleveland, you don't get mango trees. So when we do abhishekas, or when we do Rudra Abhishekam and pujas at home, we will be telecasting them and broadcasting them online. As we do that, we're setting up that location as well. But when we do that, we get these leaves from Florida, and they perhaps take 3 or 4 days to come from there to the Indian store. Here we order it, and so on and so forth. When they come, they are still not as fresh as you would want to, because you could go down your backyard and pick the mango leaves in India. Not as fresh as that, but nevertheless, they are still very fresh, and they still emit the same fragrance. So they are put in this kalasha because at the end of the ceremony, what the priest does is he dips the mango leaves and he sprinkles water on everyone. Baba used to do this at the end of 10 days of Dasara. We would all get drenched literally as he would sprinkle. And the Sadguru doing that, it was a great blessing for us. So the mango leaves is used for that, sprinkling water on everyone. So there's a lot of purity associated with mango leaves. Mango leaves, breath, wind, purity, all of them are related. So another place to do meditation and tapas and puja is perhaps under a mango tree, or bring mango leaves into your home and decorate your home with mango leaves when it is time to do a puja, because mango leaves has got the wind element. The wind element gets pure. Okay, so this is my way of understanding the wind element through mango leaves. Then comes the fire element. Now, where is fire in mango? When you think of mango, you think of sweet mango. But what about the raw mango? The raw mango, vitamin C, is extremely, what do you call that? Raw mango. It's sour. Thank you. See that? Sour. Sour, extremely sour. There is a lot of fire in sourness. Vitamin C. Fire destroys. Vitamin C destroys what? Illnesses, diseases. Vitamin C, immune system, all of that is there. So that is why in the doorway, along with mango leaves, though this is not a mango fruit I'm talking about, but I'm just finishing that thought process there. Along with the mango leaves, what do? You also put a lemon, because the lemon has the power to absorb negativity. Mango leaves brings in positivity. Lemon absorbs the negativity. Now, in addition to hanging it on the door, it's good to consume lemon. In fact, it's more beneficial. In these days, we don't really leave our door open. So consume lemon. Lemon is high in vitamin C, but so is mango. Raw mango. raw mango. That is why mango chutneys are not only tasty, but they are very, very, very healthy to, to bring mango chutneys, raw mangoes into your diet. We make it a point to have raw mangoes in our salad. Raw, kind of semi raw, not very, very raw. But Maya does some magic with that as well. And so you can put pepper, red pepper and chili pepper and all of that and make it really tasty and put that tasty stuff into an otherwise drabby salad, and voila, it becomes a tasty salad. Okay, I know your mouth is watering. So hold on to the saliva juices. But raw mango is fire. Raw mango awakens you. Raw mango wakes you up. Raw mango brings in health in your abdominal cavity. Raw mango helps you when your tongue loses taste. You need something. So raw mango is a great fruit. Very few fruits in their raw state are tasty or can be used. Well, you can perhaps use some of those fruits. But mango, you can have them right from the time they're off the tree. Okay, in Tamil we call it vadumanga. The really small ones, they use it for pickling and so on. These are slightly bigger ones. You can cut them and you can still make pickles out of them. So you have so many ways to use a mango. Just consuming raw mango itself is great. So that is fire element. So we talked about space, we talked about wind, we talked about fire. Then comes water. How about juicy mangoes? Juicy mangoes. Now, water and earth element are always very closely related. The reason I'm saying this is when we study the Muladhara and Swadhisthana, the water and earth element, these two chakras are very close to each other, almost indistinguishable, right? If you think of the sexual organ and the anus, for example, they are very close to each other. Okay, each one represents one of these elements, right? They are very close to each other. So water and earth element are very tightly integrated. But nevertheless, here, so there is flesh in the mango fruit. So obviously there is earth in that matter. But there is a lot of juice in it. The juicy mango is what makes it tasty. The juicy mangoes brought, I believe, the Mughal emperors, their favorite was this. Many of them owned hundreds and thousands of acres of mango. When I say owned, they of course grabbed it from us. But nevertheless, that's history. But they loved mangoes. A lot of emperors and kings loved mangoes, right from Krishna Devaraya. There are stories of Tenali Raman and all of that about mangoes, mangoes, mangoes. So mangoes are as a part of a rich history in India. But mangoes also are very deeply a fruit that opens your mind to the spiritual awakening. Okay, but of course, please don't start consuming it needlessly, because like anything, you will create imbalance, and that will increase your sugar levels and so on. So this is these. I just got this picture of juicy mangoes. I couldn't resist a couple of good pictures that, and so I purchased them for the show. It's beautiful. And then for the earth element, I thought, like I discussed the fleshy part of the fruit, but there's also the wood, the mango wood. Every part of the tree is useful. So a lot of you who are in India will relate to the planks and the seats that are made for puja are made out of mango wood. The wood that is used for worship, the wood that is used for meditation, in other words, the plank that you sit on, the wood that you use to build an altar and all of that is predominantly was used as mango wood. Now, for many reasons, people go for teak and all of that, Burma teak and all of that. That's for different reasons, more cosmetic reasons. But because this wood, see, the tree is very alive. The wood is always there, right? When you preserve the wood, the energy is preserved in that. So you're able to draw energy, spiritual energy from that wood, and that's why they used it in havans, in pujas. In fact, the mango leaves, they will pour the ghee and use the mango leaf as a spoon to pour the clarified butter or ghee into the sacrificial fire. So mango leaves, mango trees, all of these are powerful earth element. And therefore, for the earth element in the mango tree, rather than just only focusing on the flesh of the mango as a fruit, the tree itself is very, very useful. So it is no wonder that Parvati chose the mango tree for her tapas. The mango tree has 5 elements. Flowers before fruits is the space element. Mango leaves is the wind element. Raw mango is the fire element. Juicy mango is the water element. And the mango wood, the wood from the mango tree. Even to this day, carpenters make a lot of furniture from mango wood. So that represents the earth element. The beauty of this, at the end of the day, like I said, there could be other trees as well that have all of this. But the beauty here is the fruit. The essence of all of this is contained in the mango fruit. The mango fruit is sweet. The mango fruit can be eaten at any stage. At every stage of its growth, of its blossoming into a full-fledged fruit, it gives benefits. And that is a symbolism of our spiritual practice. Please don't think that, oh, I'm just beginning, it'll take years for me to see the benefits of spirituality. No. Even as a raw mango, when you start off as a raw mango, you get the benefit. Why? Because a raw mango can be used for pickle. So there are other things that will emanate from you that will be beneficial to your family, to your loved ones, and to yourself. So it is with this in mind, and pay attention here, it is with this in mind, this concept, that even as I begin the spiritual path, I begin accruing benefits. I become useful as the fruit is. I'm not waiting to be fully ripe to realize spiritual benefits. You don't have to. The mango tree, the mango fruit gives you the symbol of that. And that's why that is used, right? And that is, in this context, is why I talk, like, you begin the path of yoga, and health and all of that is incidental benefits. In other words, the fact that you're doing in this, you are in this path of yoga and meditation and pranayama and asana practice, all the little things will automatically begin to accrue. So even you are as a raw mango, a little mango coming up and blossoming into a full-fledged fruit, don't wait and think that only when you blossom into a full ripe mango will you be useful. You are useful right from day one. In other words, you begin to gain the benefit of being called a fruit. You add value to your practice, and you become a valuable entity, if you will, at every stage in the spiritual growth, just like the mango fruit. It's very rare that you will find another fruit like this. You can't take a coconut when it's not ready. Mango you can. Right from the moment it appears, you can grab it and you can keep using it. So there is something very unique, very beautiful about the mango. So as I'm going to say, meditate. Use this for your meditation. The mango tree, the beauty of the mango tree, the beauty of the fruit. Next time you consume a mango fruit, and if you can, though it's not directly related to what I speak in this context, but if you can, try and include raw mango into your diet in some small way, even a couple of spoons of raw mango in your salad or in your meal. You can add it to even a chutney, mango chutney. You can add it to a bowl of curds, and that makes it tasty. Simply to bring it, because at the very least it builds a lot of immune system and helps you fight many diseases, such as the one we are experiencing at the time of making this video. We're talking of COVID and all of that. So mango really helps. Raw mangoes, if you can, lay your hands on it. Try and bring it in slowly. Not the whole mango every day, but a little bit every day. Always remember, we have to balance it. Okay. So I want to present a video today, and I think we may have time for just a couple of short videos. And we will, like I said, these classes are slow paced. I want to do justice. I don't want to, once I cross it, I don't want to feel that, oh gosh, I should have spent more time. So I wanted, that's why I said, if the temple is called Ekambareshwar, let's meditate on why this was called a mango tree. Why was it based on a mango tree? Why was the entire tapas of Parvati, as we hear it today, was around a mango grove, around a mango tree? There is great symbolism in everything that our Puranas talk about. If we miss the symbolism, then we are missing a whole chunk of learning there. That is why these were taught in ashrams, and that is it. There was nothing secret about it. The fact that it was not openly laid for everyone to see, they would say you have to go live with the guru in the ashram and he will teach you. And why would he? Why would he? I mean, he would demand mindfulness from you when he begins to teach you, right? And so that is why he would pick and choose. Okay, you're not ready to understand the symbolism, so you practice a little more and come. And when you're ready, I will give you that. So that is how it appeared to be for outsiders, saying, "Oh, I don't know what is so secret thing that's going on," but it was never considered to be a secret. There is so many layers in these Puranas, so many layers of meaning hidden that one has to sit, contemplate, and understand. So whenever you come across in a story, come across terms like this, sit and meditate and see how it makes sense to you at that point. At that point, whatever makes sense to you is correct for you at that point. And then it will reveal more. Allow it to reveal itself. That is what I mean by meditating on these concepts. So let us go to the next one where I have a video in place. I'll get out of the picture soon. And let's see what this video talks about. It's a short video and we'll review the lessons that we learned from that. How is the earth element associated with our body? Our body is part of this creation, and therefore there are 5 elements that comprise this creation. They are space, air, fire, water, and earth. Incidentally, in South India, in the temples, since I pointed to these fingers, I might as well cover it here. There are mudras that are associated, fingers that are ascribed to each element. The element of earth gets the little finger, the weakest among the lot, and that is the importance that the yoga, traditional yoga and traditional spirituality gives. Prithvi is of the little finger. Okay, that is why in the temples, for those of you who know, we say lam gandham samarpayami. So from the earth, I offer the sense of smell. How is the earth element associated with our body is what we need to explore in the next few moments. Predominantly, everything in our body is earth, of course, because that is matter, right? So, skin, bones, hair, nails, teeth, and so on, all of this is earth element because it's solid matter. Now, in our body, there is a place which is predominantly matter, predominantly just earth, earthy in nature, if you will. Where is that place in our body? Of course, skin is all over and bones are all over, but predominantly there is one place that is just flesh and bones, nothing else, solid. That is from the anus and below, where the 2 legs are, right up to the feet. It is just pure muscle, right? And just bones. There are the vital organs and all of that, which is saturated in water and blood. All of that comes up later. But below the anus and below is earth. Therefore, when we meditate on the earth element in our body, we meditate on the anus and below the anus. That part of our body is dedicated to the earth element. There are 2 organs that are associated. One, as I already mentioned, is the anus. That is the organ of action. It passes out earthy matter, right? So it is connected to the earth. That is where fecal matter actually passes out of our body. So that is the earth element. The sexual organ is water element. We'll come to that later in another temple, far away from here. But right now, focusing on earth, anus is one sense of organ. And anus is an organ of action. The organ of perception that is connected, known as Ajnana Indriya, is the nose, sense of smell. Whenever there is smell, when you smell something, you know that there is some matter existing. That is why sense of smell is connected to the earth element. And one has to keep this in mind. And in your meditation today, examine the connection between nose and anus. That's why where the strongest smell in your body comes out when you pass fecal matter, because that is connected to the sense of smell. Whenever you enter a home after a vacation, you smell and you sense there is something out there, maybe a dead rat or maybe something. When you smell, and the smell attracts your attention, which means that there is matter somewhere. Smell can bind you to the earth, smell can liberate you from the earth. So sense of smell and the anus are the 2 organs of action, and the organ of perception that is linked to the Prithvi element. Okay, so we have a lot that was discussed there. Some of these things take a lot of time to digest, but some of these things we have touched upon in the Sankhya philosophy itself. So let me get straight to reviewing what this video was about, right? We spoke about the fingers and elements. Now that might have intrigued some of you. Wait a minute, what is that, right? So in traditional practices in South India, there is called Lagunyasa. There is an easy way to worship the divine with all the five elements. When I say easy way, it's a simple way to meditate. So they would use a practice where they would say, I'm offering these five elements. In each finger represented one element, and they would say, from this element I offer this to you. From this element I offer this to you. From this element I offer this to you. So each of these elements had to be represented in the altar. Should be represented in the altar. When you are in the presence of the divine means you got to understand all of these five elements. It is the harmony between these five elements that manifest the divine spirituality from within you, the divine spirit from within you. Let's take a few moments to explore that. As far as mudras and all of that is concerned, we will talk about it later, because these are connected with the air element, and we'll see how that goes, how the divine guides us. But because I mentioned that at the temple, I can't just ignore it. So I will just touch upon that here. And in the video, I only explained about the little finger. The thumb represents the space. Okay, now please don't compare this to what you read on the internet these days. They will say, we got this from Hong Kong and China and Zen and Buddhism and this and that. Now, they may be right, they may be wrong. I don't know. I don't want to get into that kind of debate. All I am going by is going back into thousands of years old practice. That's all. For me, I find peace there. I find happiness there. Whether I read an astrological chart, I go back by the oldest calculations, because without anything at their disposal, they were able, without any technology at their disposal, without any means that you and I need at their disposal, they were able to analyze the cosmos around them, right? We have that written down and documented in Vedanta, in our scriptures, in our books, if you will. So I like to always go back to what is the oldest practice. Let's start from there. What is the oldest? So in Agama Shastra, and the oldest practices of how you meditate is these. That's all. That's where I come from. That's where I find my peace. So if when I say thumb represents space, you might go on the internet and you might say, oh, but they said this represents space or this represents space. Why are you saying thumb? I am not making this up. This is how it is practiced in these ancient temples for hundreds and thousands of years. Okay, I like it. I like the logic behind it. I like the way it's understood. So that's how I come from. So thumb represents space. Thumb is the basis. Thumb is always, like we understand even in Chin Mudra, we talk about thumb being the basis, the Paramatma. The basis of this creation and all that you see around you, you need a container, right? What is the container? Space is the container, right? So space is your thumb. So the Bijakshara here is hum, hum, hum. We explored these sounds a little bit in when we understood Hanuman Chalisa. Ha, ha, ha from Hanuman, ha from Hara, Hara Hara Shankara, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, ha, ha, ha. That ha opens up the mind. Ha is a very powerful sound. Ha was the first sound, I believe. It came into this universe from the vibration. So ha becomes Hreem and all of that. Again, I always say we'll explore it so much because I get so excited. There is so much to share and learn in this path. All of them is applicable. Okay, we are not just going at random. Hum, space. Hum, space. Hum, hum, hum. So when you put a bindu at the end, hum, it becomes a mantra. From the sound, it becomes a mantra with a bindu. Bindu means a dot. Is a dot in Sanskrit. So ha becomes hum when there is a dot on top. So ha is your exhalation. That becomes hum. So hum. So hum. So think of all of that. Okay. So imagine just in that one word, there are so many layers we can talk about it, right? So let's focus now only on this context. Hum represents space. So in the mantra, what they will do, Hum Akashatmane pushpam samarpayami. They would say, the priest would say, talking of the Bijakshara. He'll invoke the Bijakshara mantra, take his mind to Akasha. Akashatmane pushpam samarpayami. The flowers from space I offer to you. I offer space as flowers to you. So, and I'm taking flowers and offering it to the divine or mentally. The whole thing can be done mentally. So when you do it mentally, what do you do? If you're interested, I'll give the Sanskrit mantras. It's also in the next class. Let me know. But at this point, I was not ready. Ham akashatmane pushpam kalpayami. Kalpayami means in my mind I'm offering it. Because we may not have a flowers all the time. We may not have a light, a candle all the time. We may not even be in an altar. But you're facing, let's say, a beautiful picture or an image, or your mind goes into meditation. You say, all right, from space I offer flowers in my mind. I visualize offering it to you, right? So that's the beauty. Kalpayami, kalpana. Kalpana is imagination, right? For those of you know Hindi, kalpana, kalpayami is in my mind, I offer it to you. So it's as powerful as samarpayami. Samarpayami is actually doing that as a ritual in a puja. So, ham akashatmane akasha. From akasha, I bring flowers to you. Akashatmane pushpam kalpayami. Then comes the forefinger. From thumb to forefinger. What is next? This is Vayu. Vayu. This is why the Vayu goes here. The Jiva, the Vayu goes internal. You're taking the breath and pointing it towards space, and then instead of the breath going out into creation and getting mixed up with all the others, you are, Chin Mudra has all these so many implications, right? So Vayu element. This represents the Vayu element. And the Bijakshara is Yam. Yam. So Yam Vaivatmane. What do you offer now? You'll offer Dhupam, the incense sticks that brings fragrance into your home, into the altar. You're offering that Dhupam to the divine. So in other words, through the Dhupam, through the incense sticks, you're offering the wind itself. In other words, you're becoming mindful of what all. I'm just offering it to you because it belongs to you. Everything is going back to you, right? So, yam vayu dhupam samarpayami or kalpayami. Then the middle finger represents fire. So you see now that you understood Sankhya, which is why we laid the basis there, this becomes a little more easier. Space, wind, fire. Fire is the middle finger. Fire. And the Bijakshara is Ram. The Ram, then you, with the thumb, you touch everything, right? So the first one you touch with the forefinger and do this. Ham akashatmane pushpam sam kalpayami yam vayuvatmane dhupam kalpayami ram agniatmane deepam kalpayami. This flame, this light, this candle that I'm lighting, this lamp that I'm lighting, I'm offering the element of Agni to you. So in other words, you get reverential attitude to all these elements. You will never misuse these elements once you begin to understand this and offer it every day in your prayer. You'll never do that. You'll never misuse them. You'll never waste these elements. So you finish space, air, and fire. Then comes the ring finger. Ring finger represents water. Ring represents water. And of course, I call it ring finger. I think that's the way we address it in English. So Ham, Yam, Ram, Vam. So instead of Jala in Vam, because it's an offering, we say Amrita. Amrita is nectar. Water is nectar. Water is life-giving. Nectar is life-giving. So we consider nectar. So we say Naivedyam, the prasad that I made for you, is this nectarine prasad I'm offering to you. I'm offering the water element through this prasad to you. So that is why we offer mango as an important matter of prasadam, because there's a lot of water in it. Coconuts are offered, and all of these fruits are offered. Almost all fruits have water element in it. And then you make juicy, tasty prasadam to offer. Yeah. So Vam Amritatmane Amrita Maha Nevedyam Kalpayami. So even in your imagination, you can offer this. So a entire puja can be done in a minute or two. So forget the time part of it. The fact that it's a very powerful way to meditate, even before you sit for meditation, you can say, I'm offering all this to my guru and I'm going to sit at the feet. So a great way to practice this. Okay. And then the last one, lam. Lam prithvyatmane gandham kalpayami. Gandham, smell. So chandan, you have sandalwood paste that is put. You put sandalwood paste here. You put sandalwood paste here. You put sandalwood paste on top of the lingam if you're worshipping a lingam or the idol. Why are you doing that? Because you become aware as you're applying the sandal paste. You become aware of the sense of smell, the importance of smell. Smell is connected to memories. We talked about it earlier in one of the classes, and it's so important. Those memories can bind you or memories can liberate you. That's why we want the sense of smell is connected to the earth element and so on. So the little finger represents Lam, Prithvi. Now, by sheer body language, you'll see that Prithvi is given such importance. This is what it is. What is consuming your attention and my attention and our conscious every day to day activity is just this. Could we live without a little finger? I think so. I think we can do a lot of work without this. God forbid, nobody needs to lose a little finger. But I'm just saying, without this, it will be very difficult because you can't even write, right? Without this, I guess we can. Prithvi is given this importance. Because when you think of Prithvi, it's heavy, it's big, oh my gosh, everything is Prithvi. You would think thumb is Prithvi. No, thumb is actually space. The most important, the most subtle is the most powerful. Space is the most subtle of elements, is the most powerful element, space. And the most evident, the most materialistic, the most gross form of the manifestation is the least important. Think of this. That is why when a yogi analyzes in traditional path, when they talk about diseases and illnesses in the body here, they say go back, find out which element is causing it, because this is only a manifestation. You're trying to fix the manifestation without understanding what is the cause of this manifestation, right? And so in the next class, it'll be fascinating how we'll understand the earth element and how we can implement the earth element in many facets of our life. How is earth, in what role does it play in our food? What role does it play in our thoughts? What role does it play in the way we speak? So many aspects. Where is earth element in our consciousness? How much of earth element is there in our consciousness is what we will examine in the next class or maybe a couple of classes. Okay, so I'm not going to let you go till I feel satisfied that I have done justice to lay a deep foundation for the earth element. Remember, one thing is understanding these, practicing. The next one is assimilating through practice, assimilating it in your everyday. Bring it into your everyday practice. So let me know if you want the mantras for this. In the next class, I'll take the first 5 minutes just to show you, put the mantras out there. And so y'all can practice it if you wish to. But it's a great way. I do that as I sit. I just want to quickly, even before I begin my mantra, everything, I chant the 3 ohms, I'll do these 5 nyasas, if you will. It helps. It feels a sense of all the elements in my body gets pure because I've offered it to the divine. And then I begin my practice. So I will share that in the next class. I thought we barely begun and we're already at the end of this class. But I hope that this class was useful to you. And I hope these classes will be useful to you in your own spiritual practice. And that's why I'm taking it very slow, explaining every step of whatever has made sense to me. I'm sharing with you all so that we all make this journey back home together. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your patience. Let me bring this class to an end as always with 1 Om and 3 Shantis. Until we meet again in the next class, stay safe, stay blessed, stay inspired. Thank you. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.